Good morning, crafters. This is Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. We have a mystery case to play with for this Monday, July 13th. Now, there were quite a few clues, so let's just go through them. One was to have a sample of Designer Series paper, 4x3. I'm going to be using the Ornate Garden, this pretty daisy paper. A stamp set coordinating to the DSP, if you have one. Now, I didn't order the new Ornate Garden stamp set, but I'm going to tie it with So Sentimental for my expressions, and then I think I'm going to make a paper daisy as an element. So just with my paper punch for my daisy punch, I'm just going to make a daisy for that. So you can decide what to use. Embossing folder 1 or 2, I'm actually going to be using the greenery embossing folder, these mini leaves, and I'm going to be using the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder with these tiny little posies on it. You're going to want to have your paper trimmer. I'm going to show you a little technique that I've used a few times that I find handy. So you're going to want a paper trimmer, and you might decide to cut some of these pieces down. Secondly, you're going to want a piece of coordinating cardstock to go with your DSP. Use one for the card base and have a piece for the sentiment, and then a second coordinating piece for a paper ribbon. So I said to start with 4 by 1.5, and then you can trim that down as you start building your card. Framelit or paper punch for the sentiment. Again, I'm using the Stitched So Sweetly sentiment coordinating dies here. I'm going to be using the rectangular one on my DSP, and then I'm going to be using these 2 tiny ones, I think, for making my sentiment. And a coordinating ink. So I'm going to be using Garden Green to go with my paper. So let's go ahead and build a card. Okay, so I started by embossing a piece of the Bumblebee in color. This is the new yellow with that posy embossing folder. So just run that through your embossing machine for the front of your card. Okay, that's easy enough. Secondly, I took my 4 by 1.5 and I ran it through my embossing machine to make a paper ribbon with one of the embossing folders from Greenery. Okay, this is with the Forever Fern Suite, so I have a piece of green. Then I took my Stitched So Sweetly die and I cut out a rectangle from my 3 by 4. Now, why do I start with 3 by 4? Because you can cut that DSP into 12 panels if you do 3 by 4. So if you wanted to, you could do a dozen cards like this, or you could use the reverse side if you wanted to change up your cards a little bit with a different color theme. So 3 by 4 is a nice size to cut that 12 by 12 into. So, and if you cut your paper down to 4 by 6, that gives you 2 of that piece. So just ways to use that paper more efficiently. Okay, so here are the 3 main pieces of our card. So here is the little technique trick that I've used lately to make my paper go a little farther. So here I've got my daisy piece, right? And I could just put that on there, and I could trim this down and put a piece of ribbon across and add my sentiment. But I want to fill the card out a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces. Okay, so I'm not going to be picky. I think I'm going to go about 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches. So let's see if that's 2. That's 1, that's 1.5, I think. Okay, so now I've got 2 pieces that when together they make that scalloped edge rectangle, but I can pull them apart now and extend them. Okay, so now I can start playing with my pieces on here. So if I extend them like this, I could add my paper ribbon over the top and hide the gap. Now I don't want mine that big for this card, so I'm going to trim that down. So it is 1.5 inches to start. I'm going to go, I think, 3/4 of an inch. So let's see. Is that 3/4? Yep, that's 3/4. So let's see how that looks. So if I go 3/4 across, and I put this underneath, see how I can extend it? Right? You don't know it's 2 pieces, but it is. And that goes across there. Now I have made a paper daisy that I kind of want to play with on here because I don't have coordinating stamps. Not that I need them, right? But if you wanted to add a little daisy on there for embellishment. Okay, so I think, let me try the bigger one because that daisy is really big. Yeah, maybe I'll go with the thicker one, like that. Maybe I want to bring this in a little bit. All right, so sometimes you just got to do. So I'm going to add my 2 pieces. I'm going to step it in a little bit farther than I originally planned. So I'm going to step it in from the corner, and then I'm just going to line this one up down here. Okay. Then I'm going to add my paper ribbon. Now, do I want it to go all the way across, or do I want to trim it up a little bit? I think I want my daisy on the inside of that frame, but I don't know that I want the green poking out the end. Maybe I do. Nope, let's just do the green poking out the end. Okay, so you could trim it shorter if you didn't want that green overlap outside. So I'm just going to step this in on both sides, about 1/8 of an inch. And if you want yours shorter, narrower, use those paper trimmers and trim them up so that you have them the sizes you want. Now here's the paper daisy. I just took 2 daisies and I put them together with glue dots. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on my card with a glue dot as well. So maybe I'll put a couple on there. So here's my daisy. So I just have 2 layered daisies offset by each other. I'm just going to step that in. Remember, it's got to be in the envelope, so you want to make sure it's not beyond that limit. All right, so there's my paper daisy. And then I've already stamped the Hello Baby from the So Sentimental stamp set, and it's really tiny. And so I got really lucky, maybe not lucky, it's probably planned this way, that when I stamped it, I was able to die cut it with this tiny scalloped frame. So this is how I figured out I could do it. I just put the frame over the top of the stamp on the stamp set and said, yep, that'll fit. So there's that. Now, I could have, without the daisy, I was going to just layer 2 of these together, right, to make my tag. But then I thought, daisy paper, daisy punch, why not use it? So I'm actually going to add my sentiment to the center of this daisy. So let me just get the backings off. There we go. Sticky, sticky today. So I'm going to put this there, and then I'm just going to put my sentiment down over the center of that daisy. So by using the green ink, it ties in with the green paper ribbon. The yellows all tie in with my designer series paper, and I've got a nice, quick, bright card to send. So, and remember, you could use any sentiment. You don't have to use a daisy. You could use any shaped label you wanted to. Or if you didn't have designer series paper, stamp your own. You got those stamp sets, stamp up some paper and use it as your own panel. So there is the case for Monday. I have a few more of this idea to share with you this week, and tomorrow I'm actually going to share my Joy of Sets blog hop card with you, Christmas in July. So get ready for some Christmas cheer tomorrow. And then you can hop along with the rest of us tomorrow all across the globe with our Joy of Sets blog hop. So lots of creative ideas this week. All right, everybody, go get busy, be creative, and make some great cards. Can't wait to see them. Remember, email them to me at susan@pumpkinhillstampers.com, and I'm happy to share them on the blog page for everyone else to see, and I will tag them with your name. So until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.